Snow still clung to the hem of her skirt when she stepped off the stagecoach and saw the two children staring at her as if she were some heavenly apparition, or an omen. Charlotte Hale froze on the wooden platform, travel bag clutched tight to her chest. She had been prepared to meet her groom, maybe even his extended kin if they'd braved the cold. But not this, two solemn-faced youngsters, bundled in patched coats, gripping a crooked wooden sign that read, "Welcome Miss Charlotte." "Pa ain't here," the little girl whispered before Charlotte could speak. "But we made room at the table." Charlotte's breath fogged the air. A distant bell tolled from the church in town, rolling across the frozen valley like a reminder. She had come all this way to honor a promise made in ink, sealed in loneliness, and sent across half the country in hope. She gathered herself, lowering the small veil pinned to her hat. "And where is your father?" she asked softly. The boy straightened, jaw stiff like a man twice his size. "Working the north fence. Blizzard took it down 3 days past. Won't be home till dusk, if the wind don't take him too." Charlotte swallowed. She had imagined a steadier arrival, her future husband introducing himself, maybe touching his hat brim with a shy smile. Not a barren stage stop, not a town that looked half forgotten under winter's hand, not two children carrying the weight of a grown man's responsibilities. The driver tossed down her trunk and muttered something about beating the next storm. Hooves clattered away, leaving Charlotte alone with the children whose names she had only read in letters, Eli and Miriam Carter. Miriam tugged her sleeve. "We made stew," she said. "Didn't know what you eat, so we just made everything." Charlotte exhaled a trembling laugh. "Everything sounds wonderful." As they walked toward the waiting wagon, Charlotte noticed their hands, red, chapped, small. She wondered how long they had waited, how long they had stood in the cold so that she wouldn't arrive to an empty street. The gesture struck deeper than she expected. But as they reached the wagon, Eli hesitated. Snowflakes clung to his lashes as he turned toward the ridge above town. "Storm's changing," he murmured. "Wind's wrong." Charlotte followed his line of sight. Dark clouds were rolling fast, swallowing the pale December sun. Charlotte felt the children stiffen beside her. Even from a distance, she saw the urgency in the rider's posture, reins tight, horse blowing hard steam into the air. Whoever he wasn't riding for pleasure or greeting. Eli shifted subtly, placing himself between the rider and his sister. "Miss Charlotte," he said low, "Pa always said not to trust a man who rides that hard in the cold. Means he carries trouble faster than he carries news." Charlotte had no experience reading riders, but her pulse quickened. Instinct told her to step back, but something else, something tied to the promise she made coming here, kept her rooted. When the man pulled up short in front of them, his horse's hooves skidding on packed snow, Charlotte caught a glimpse of a star pinned to his coat. A lawman. His breath came out in clouds as he scanned the three of them. "You Carter young uns," he called over the wind. Eli didn't answer. The lawman dismounted slowly. "Easy. I'm Marshal Dean Rourke. Been looking for Samuel Carter." Miriam's fingers tightened painfully around Charlotte's hand. The marshal lifted his chin toward her. "And you're the bride-to-be, I take it." Charlotte nodded, though her throat constricted. Rourke sighed. "There's been trouble up on the ridge. A band of drifters crossed the Carter line late last night. Spooked half the valley. Folks said Samuel was out mending fence. I need to know if he came home." "He ain't back," Eli said, voice steady but faint. Charlotte felt her heart drop. Rourke swore under his breath. "Then he's missing." The wind rolled down the ridge, colder than before, stinging Charlotte's cheeks. The marshal continued, "Storm's closing fast. If someone doesn't go look for him now, he won't last the night." Eli stepped forward. "I'll go." "No," Charlotte blurted before she could think. She grabbed his coat sleeve. "You're a child. I'm the man of the house, till Pa's back." The words were too heavy for someone his age. Charlotte felt them crush into her. Rourke shook his head. "Boy's brave, but he's right, someone from the family needs to help spot Sam's trail, but I won't take him alone. His eyes met Charlotte's. Ma'am, you came here for this family. Question is, are you willing to start now? The moral weight hit her like a blow. She had traveled thousands of miles seeking a safe place to belong. A home. A husband. But the promise she had made, the one etched into every letter she exchanged with Samuel Carter, wasn't just to him, it was to these children in whatever storms their lives held. Even if the first storm was a real one. Charlotte inhaled sharply. I'll go. Miriam gasped. Eli looked torn between relief and fear. Rourke nodded once. Then saddle up. We ride in 5 minutes. But as they prepared to leave, another rider's silhouette appeared on the far ridge, heading toward town with reckless speed. And Charlotte couldn't shake the feeling that Samuel wasn't the only one the storm threatened to take. The sky darkened to iron as Charlotte rode beside the marshal, snowflakes needling her face. Eli stayed close to her saddle, determined to prove his place, though Charlotte could see the tremor in his gloved hands. Behind them, the second rider closed distance. Within minutes, he thundered into view, a gaunt man wrapped in a torn coat, eyes wide with desperation. Rourke reacted instantly. Keep moving, he hissed. Don't look at him. But the man called out, voice cracking, Marshal. They're comin'. They followed me down the ridge. Charlotte glanced over her shoulder. Who? Drifters, Rourke said grimly. Desperate ones. Winter drives men mad when there's hunger in their gut. The rider pulled alongside, breathless. I tried warning folks, fools wouldn't listen. They ain't after food no more. They're after horses, wagons, anything that'll get 'em out of the valley before the storm kills 'em. Charlotte's chest tightened. And Samuel? They had him, the man whispered. Tied up near the ridge. He tried talking 'em down. Rourke cursed. Which way? North Trail. But they're comin' fast. I barely got out. But when she peeked over the trunk, what she saw pulled her breath away, Samuel Carter slumping to his knees as one of the drifters struck him with the butt of a rifle. Charlotte didn't think. She moved. Eli grabbed her arm. Miss Charlotte, don't. I made a promise, she whispered. To him. To you. She rose slowly, hands lifted in the open, and stepped into the clearing. Snowflakes swirled around her, turning her into some pale figure the drifters weren't sure whether to shoot or stare at. One of them snarled. Who the hell are you? Charlotte forced her voice steady. A woman who came a long way to join this family. And I won't see you kill him. The leader scoffed. Lady, we ain't plannin' to kill him. We're plannin' to trade him. Law don't give a damn if we freeze, so long as we stay off their land. But a rancher? A rancher's worth something. Charlotte's stomach twisted. He has children. Not my problem. Her breath trembled in the cold. She reached into her coat, and slowly pulled out the only thing she carried with any value, her grandmother's silver locket. The one she had sworn never to part with. She held it out. Trade me instead. Samuel jerked up, eyes widening. No. The drifter laughed. You think we want some fragile mail-order bride? Lady, you ain't worth. He hesitated. Because inside the locket, catching the light in a glint of warm gold, was a small folded bill, money she had hidden for emergencies. Take it, Charlotte said. And leave him. The leader stepped closer, reaching greedily. But before he could touch it, Samuel surged upward, shoulder slamming into the man with surprising strength. They tumbled through the snow. Rourke seized the moment. Down. Gunfire exploded. Charlotte dove for cover. Snow sprayed. Horses screamed. The clearing dissolved into thunder and white. Through the chaos, she crawled to Samuel, cutting the ropes around his wrists with a pocket knife Rourke had tossed her way. His breath was hot against her cheek, ragged with pain. "You shouldn't have come," he rasped. She looked him in the eyes. "I came because you asked for a partner. Not a ghost." His expression softened, just for a moment, a flicker of gratitude and something deeper passing through him. Then Eli's scream cut through the storm. Charlotte whipped around and saw him pinned by one of the drifters. And the fight wasn't over yet, Charlotte didn't think. Fear dissolved into something sharper, fiercer. She scrambled across the snow, grabbing the fallen rifle beside her. The weapon was heavy, cold, unfamiliar. But Eli's terrified eyes burned all hesitation from her. "Let him go," she shouted. The drifter sneered, tightening his grip on the boy. "Or what?" Charlotte steadied the rifle, breath shallow. "Or I fire." "You ain't gonna." She cocked the hammer. The sound rang out, clean and decisive. The drifter's bravado cracked. Slowly, he released his hold on Eli, pushing the boy forward to flee. Charlotte kept the rifle trained on him until he backed away far enough that Rourke, limping but alive, could intercept and disarm him. The clearing fell still except for the moaning wind. Snow and gun smoke drifted together, fading into the trees. Samuel staggered to his feet, swaying. Charlotte rushed to his side, sliding an arm around him. His weight sagged against her, but his eyes, those steady, honest eyes she had known only on paper, fixed on her with something like awe. "You shouldn't have risked your life," he murmured. Charlotte swallowed. "You have 2 children who need you. And I came here to belong somewhere. I suppose I started that by choosing you today." A long silence stretched, warmer than the firelight she'd once imagined between them. Samuel exhaled, a pained smile curling. "I reckon you saved us all." Rourke approached, wiping blood from his brow. "We'll haul the drifters to town before the storm takes the trail. But you folks, get home. Warm up. Ain't no sense lettin' Christmas kill you after you fought so hard to keep it." They rode back slowly, Samuel leaning heavily against Charlotte's arm. Eli and Miriam flanked them, silent but hopeful. Snow thickened, but it no longer felt hostile, just part of the world they had survived together. When they reached the Carter Ranch, the lantern in the window glowed like a quiet promise. Miriam hurried inside to stoke the fire. Eli helped Samuel to the table. Charlotte hesitated at the threshold, suddenly unsure. She had crossed mountains, prairies, and storms to get here, but stepping into that warm room felt like crossing an even larger distance. Samuel extended his hand. "Miss Charlotte," he said softly, "you ain't just a mail-order bride no more. Today you became part of this family. If you'll still have us." Tears pricked her eyes. She set her hand in his. "I made a promise," she whispered. "And I intend to keep it." Later, after Samuel slept and the children dozed near the hearth, Charlotte sat by the window, watching snow bury the world in quiet white.